I want to introduce you to your speaker today. It's Breda McCague. Breda is a co-founder of Lean In Ireland, and Lean In was set up by Sheryl Sandberg basically to help women to achieve their career goals and aspirations. But Breda is far more than Lean In Ireland. She's also a full-time job at Bank of Ireland, where she's transformationalist specialist auditor. If she's got a half an hour later, she might tell you what that's about. On top of that, she has 3 young boys. On top of that, she does a daily commute to Monaghan, which is 100 kilometres each way. And on top of all of that, she's a member of 2 bands, one of which is a rock band. How Breda does it all, I have no idea. So she's basically going to tell us today about the importance of diversity, and I suppose in particular the focus is gender diversity, given it's Lean in Ireland, and also about Lean in Ireland and how that works. So I'll hand you over to Breda.
Thank you all for coming today. It's a super way to spend the lunchtime. I'm delighted to see such interest here in Arthur Cox. I'm delighted to be with you on behalf of Lean In, and looking forward to sort of sharing some of my story with you. A little piece about gender diversity and why it's such a big subject and why it's such a buzzword this year in particular. So yeah, 2 of every 10 of your senior leadership positions are women. So that means you have still 8 of your 10 senior leadership positions are men. And yet you bring in 60 to 65% of women to start with. So that's a very grim story, isn't it? But it's reality, and I think that's really, really important. I think that's the place to start. I think we all need to get on the one page here and understand that, and then we start to be able to fix that. And why would we want to fix it, and all of the other pieces that you'll get into. And women are 18% less likely to get their first managerial promotion than their male counterparts. And it just escalates from there. And you see then women start to leave the workforce. So people always assume, and I did too before I started reading all of this, that it was actually, you know, it was too overwhelming to keep your full-time job going, it was too stressful, and your kids and managing all of that, and you drop out of the workforce. But that's not actually it at all. There's only 2% of women leaving their roles to actually look after families and care for families. 80% of women that are going to move roles and move companies in the next 5 years said they're going to do so for better promotions and better pay. So that's an easy one to fix, right? Because when you're aware of this stuff and you realise why you're losing them, you can do something to fix that. Income. So on your invested equity in a company, if you have a really healthy gender diverse balance, you will be making 53% more on your equity. Your sales and your turnover, 42% more than the companies that have not got a healthy gender diversity balance the whole way up. Now, to me, that's big money. That's a lot of money. And, you know, when you think about it, this is easy to fix. This is a lot easier to fix than a lot of corporate issues that we have these days. This is not a big IT system that you have to put in. It's not a whole new model or a way of working. This is easy stuff. It's as simple as a bit of training, a bit of unconscious bias training, a program of some sort. It's strategy. It's getting everybody onto the one page and trying to make this company look like what good is. Because guess what? There's very few doing that well. So there's an opportunity here. Massive. And you think of the branding of that. Imagine being the best gender diverse company in Dublin, because there isn't one yet. I have looked. And there are a few companies that are trying hard to get better, and there are a few doing, you know, bits of programs here and there, and they're getting a little bit of press over that in a positive light. But none of them can be the front runner on this yet. Because it's about, remember I mentioned the pipeline? So they're not managing that yet. And if you're the company that can sort of get this one right and win this one over, then you'll be invited to go and talk to other companies. And you'll be involved more in this whole gender diversity piece in Dublin. Wouldn't that be nice? Do you know? Imagine your brand reputation there. Wouldn't it be super? And you could have whatever graduates you want. You could attract whatever graduates you want because you'd be the best in that space. So I don't know why we don't go for that. So anyway, that's it. It's very easy fixed. As I say, it's a bit of training, it's a bit of a program, and it's a bit about strategy. So it's there for the taking. It's an opportunity for whatever company wants to do it. And there's loads of ways of doing that. There's any amount of support out there at the minute for this kind of thing. Very easy to get that fixed and up and running. So that's that. We're going to pause there. We'll leave all those lovely numbers to sit and digest with you. Have a think of all the money you're missing out on. But it certainly probably was why I turned into a wee bit of a feminist, because sometimes if you're told you can't do it or you shouldn't do it, or you know, it's acceptable, it's okay, the status quo is fine, don't rock the boat. I think that probably brings, you know, a challenge with it. And I am a project manager and a program manager by trade, so I like organising things and driving things. And that to me is just second nature. That's how I run the rock band and the kids and the job and the commute and all of that, because I just organise and keep myself organised and drive all of these actions. It's all about diarising and calendar planning, and it's easy when you get used to it. You know, when you're living in Monaghan like I am, you're not always in Dublin for networking events, but that doesn't stop you networking, because that's what you can do online now. And they're all very handy, I'm sure, on your phones. So start using it to your advantage in terms of your business and your career. Why not? And I guess the difference for Lean In is A, it's free, so it doesn't cost anything to join. And B, it's not just event driven. So the way Lean In works is we do have events so that you can come and find out about Lean In and you can network with people at them. But it's really all about Lean In circles. And Lean In circles are just simply small groups of people, between 8 and 12 people in a little group. They call them circles. So the Lean In methodology is all free. So you just go on leanin.org and you get all of the information you want. And you get all of the absolute, you know, step by step how to set up a Lean In circle. And there's already loads of circles there for you to pick from. So when we started looking at it, there was 3 circles in Dublin. Somehow had managed to get on there without any sort of Lean In Dublin organisation there at all. There's 25 now and 3 chapters. And Lean In as an organisation is global. Sheryl Sandberg, Grania mentioned earlier. So Sheryl Sandberg founded Lean In. Did you ever hear of the Lean In book? Yeah. A lot of people have heard of it or read it, and some people haven't heard of it at all. But basically, Sheryl Sandberg in 2013 wrote a book that absolutely sparked a global conversation about women in work. And in it, it's pretty straightforward. It's just really things that she was noticing that women were running into and seemed to be blocking them, getting up that pipeline and those managerial levels. And so she wrote very frankly in her book, and it did absolutely, there was a global conversation, but it was clear that there was more information required and something further than just a book. So she set up a program, and she pays for it herself. It's based on peer mentorship. So it's peer mentorship, and it's for the guys and the girls. So this is not just about women, because men, you have a part to play in this conversation as well. Men make really good mentors. A lot of my mentors are male. Some women don't have enough confidence to go for those roles. And a lot of women don't think that they could ever be CEO. And they don't aspire to be senior leaders. And again, think back to the condition that I talked about. So there's a bit of that going on there, and that's why Lean In is so important, because that is exactly what you would be working on as part of a Lean In circle. So a job comes up. If a man has 66% of the expertise and the skills, he'll put a CV in for it. And why wouldn't he? But women are more particular, and they have to be sure at 100% that they have all the expertise and the skills before they put their CV in. So not only have we got a little bit of unconscious bias going on in the mix in those middle management roles, we've also got girls and ladies and females that aren't believing in themselves. And that's why mentorship's important. It's just the way we are. It's just the way you've been conditioned. And I do think the next generation of women will not have this problem. Because I think with social media and all of the positive sort of mental attitude stuff out there, I think there'll be a whole different breed. But certainly at the moment, middle management roles, why we can't get women in, is a bit off the unconscious bias piece, it's a bit of the conditioning, and it's about women that have let their dreams sit and gather dust. And I hate to see that. Because I think back where we said about those entrants levels and when you come out of college, how ambitious you were. And I don't think women should let that go. The guys don't, and why would the women? So that's it. So we've covered business case, we've covered sort of why things are the way they are, we've now covered my story, and we've covered what lean in is.